Good evening. 16 years ago, in the last recession, I launched JoJo Maman Bebe from an office the size of a bathroom and a garage for a warehouse. My plans were those of a young, idealistic entrepreneur. I had no capital, no bank backing, no experience. And yet I wanted to launch and grow a fashion company which would become a global brand. Not too much to ask. But what I did have was naivety. And I had determination. I had a huge amount of passion, and I had energy. We've still got a very long way to grow. But nonetheless, the question I'm most asked is, how did I do it? In my experience, there's actually very little between a startup and business success. But what you do need is courage. And Churchill once said, success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It is courage that counts. And without courage, there would be no entrepreneurs. But it's not just courage. I actually think that you need to have what I call the 4 I's. Now, the first I believe, is innovation. Without a good idea, without a good IT solution, without a good business model, without a good service, what have you got to market? It's no good striving for mediocrity. It's no good striving to be second best. If your company does not offer the best service in its field, if it doesn't offer the best product, then why the hell not? My second I is inspiration. You've got to inspire. You must engage your employees. You must keep morale high. A happy team leads to happy customers. We look after our staff by our profit share. We have an in-house education scheme. We second our staff to go and work in our charity in Africa. And as you see in this picture, we hold 2 staff parties a year, which I always enjoy. I'm not sure everyone else does, but I like them. You need to have imagination. Marketing, PR, sales promotions, point-of-sale material, whatever industry you're in, you've got to continue to be imaginative. A marketing plan which is regurgitated 2 years running is no marketing plan. Especially in the current economic climate, keeping your customer base engaged is essential. And my last I has got to be the ability to cope with insomnia. And here we have a picture of a very tired Laura with one of my sons as a newborn baby, showing that us women, we can have it all as long as we can cope without a good night's sleep. So how did I get there? Well, the year I launched JoJo, we turned over £30,000. This year, our gross turnover will be around £19 million. I launched with 2 part-time members of staff. We currently have 250 members of staff in-house, and we subcontract to nearly 2,000 people, offering fair employment around the world, from India to China, Portugal and Turkey. We're not a huge company, but we've never compromised on our ideals or had to marginalise our ethics in the pursuit of profit. I launched this company believing that you can do well whilst doing good. Keeping that business ethos is absolutely vital, and we keep the business private in order to run the business the way we want to run it as the employees. I'm told that this ethos of care, of corporate social responsibility, is a feminine trait and not something you will often find in a male-dominated industry. In fact, at one of your events last week, I met a venture capitalist who told me that business plans compiled and submitted by men always have an exit strategy, whereas those compiled and submitted by women very rarely do. I have no exit plan, and I believe that business should not be run only for profits. Of course, we must remain profitable. We must monitor our sales. We must have up-to-date P&Ls. We must monitor cash flow. But business decisions at JoJo are based on sensible practices to ensure the longevity of the company, and not just to maximise the value of the company for the next round of financing. Being an employer is not just about providing jobs, but it's about offering your teams a community, a social life, a raison d'être, and job satisfaction. And as I said, this sense of responsibility doesn't actually come as standard in all companies, but I would challenge that where this business ethos is a success, it will be repaid 1,000 times over through staff loyalty, reduced pilfering, lower levels of absenteeism, increased productivity. These benefits are so numerous and they're all too often overlooked in a more corporate business environment. Our growth has had its ups and downs, you can see from the chart, but we're an undercapitalised private company. We've seen many competitors fall along the wayside, but we're currently trading 11% up on a like-for-like basis on last year, and our sales appear to remain positive despite the recession. However, I never forget that success is never final. My parents actually didn't approve when I wanted to start my own company. I'm not sure if you're in the same position. They advised me to do a secretarial course. They thought a secretarial course was a good thing to do just in case I failed to get a good husband. They accepted that I wasn't going to be a high achiever because I wasn't a high achiever at school. In fact, it wasn't until we were employing about 100 people and had a turnover of around about 5 million that my mother stopped asking me when was I going to get a proper job. Despite our ups and downs, we finally reached the stage where I actually do feel that I now have a proper job. We've got 22 stores across the country and we've got more in the pipeline. Ideally, we'd like to open another 40 in the next few years. Our mail order and web sales offer free delivery on over 2,000 pregnancy and baby styles and products. We're launching a multi-currency website with marketing campaigns in America and Europe. We own our head office premises and we'll continue to reinvest our profits to fund the organic growth of the business whilst retaining the flexibility of having no outside investors for as long as we possibly can. Now, we have always cared about the way we do business. And as a female-run company, we're intrinsically practical. This includes our eco-stance. This eco-stance is not just a PR tick box, but it's obvious and sensible business practice. It's a little-known fact that we're probably the UK's largest manufacturer of children's clothing made from recycled materials. We use organic cottons when possible, and we recycle our packaging and use recycling materials in our packaging. These practices are expensive, but their axing is non-negotiable in our attempts to cut costs in line with recessionary needs. We are loyal to our suppliers, and we do not put our manufacturing out to tender every year just to save a few pounds. This loyalty to them commands loyalty to us, which actually will stand us in good stead in tough times. We value our staff and promote from within. In fact, one of my first employees is here in the audience. She's now a director of the company. Another director joined as my assistant, straight from university. Our second employee and our third employee, our fourth employee, are all still working for the company. I strongly believe you can learn more about increased efficiency, increased productivity, by talking to the pickers and packers on the warehouse floor than using a management consultant. We rely on gut feel, and we never take a decision which will compromise our ethical business stance. I may make it sound easy, and of course it's not. At the end of the day, we've got to continue to design styles that people want to buy. We've got to make sure that we fend off that ever-increasing threat from the supermarkets. And I must be strong. I must be there for my teams. I've got to be positive, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. But I think that when people ask me, how did I do it? I owe my success to having listened respectfully to the very best advice and then gone away and done the exact opposite. Thank you.